Hello everyone and welcome back. Yes, today I have my big boy gaming headset on because the Switch 2 is finally here. And this is the headset I use when I'm playing the Switch. So I'm going to be doing a lot of gaming today. But before I get into any of that, we have some Jurassic related stuff to take care of. We're back with an all new season of Beyond the Gates.
Welcome back to Beyond the Gates. To celebrate the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park, we are going behind the scenes to Mattel's offices to take a look at the development of these 4 all-new Jurassic Park 93 Classic Collection sets. I'll let Mattel's Gregory Murphy take it from here.
So the 93 Classic line is a celebration of 30 years of Jurassic toys. We really wanted to capture the bold, fun look of all the toys that came out around the time of that first film and bring it into the 21st century. One of the most immediate things you'll notice is this bold, bright new packaging. It's directly inspired by the exact type of packaging we saw on shelves when Jurassic Park first came out.
Yeah, I love that original packaging, the orange sunset and everything. It really screams Jurassic Park to me. Over the years, they've used everything from like a matte metal finish, like a steel kind of finish, especially around the Jurassic Park 3 era. But I think even with the Lost World, they used a lot more jungle patterns and a lot more green. But my aesthetic has always been, or my favorite aesthetic, I should say, has always been the red and the orange and the sunset glow. I don't know whose decision that was back in the heyday to make that the standard packaging, but I'm so glad that they did.
First up, we've got the Ian Malcolm glider escape pack. Everyone's favorite chaotician swoops in to save a hatchling Triceratops from a marauding Dilophosaurus.
Now, I will say this, and I don't know if I mentioned this in another episode, I never did understand the human toy aspect of the Jurassic toy line. I guess there was some disconnect between what the actors in the movie were doing and then what the actors as far as toy versions of them were doing, because they always had guns and stun guns and nets and these jetpack thingies. None of this has anything to do with the movie whatsoever, and I find that hilarious.
So when we start out designing, of course, it all begins just with some sketches, drawing on inspiration to push the toy in one direction or another. So once we've got some sketches we like, we kind of refine those a little further and really start to dial in the designs into something a little bit more concrete that starts to look a little bit closer to what actually ends up on shelves.
None of those sketches are what the actual toy looks like. I'm sorry. These are some very vibrant sketches that are beautifully done, but the toys are just like, nah.
Once we've got that tooling in place, we can actually start seeing some prototypes in hand from the factory. And that's when the team kind of all gathers together. And that's where the fun really begins for us, where we start to see the thing that we designed all those months ago. It starts coming to life. It's a real thing you can hold in your hand, which is super exciting. The Alan Grant Tactical Claw Pack includes a Gallimimus with deco inspired by the original Stan Winston maquette, of course, Alan Grant, a hatchling raptor, and a ton of gadgets and gear for awesome dino capturing action. And I've got to say, this includes one of my favorite accessories, the grappling launcher. You do not want to miss this one. We've got the awesome Track and Explore set. This has a brand new vehicle.
I don't understand the coloring on this one, and I might have spoken about that in previous Beyond the Gate episodes, but some of the coloring gets completely wild and out there. Really gets away from the movie. Now, don't get me wrong, I like this color. It reminds me of the Quick Ball from Pokemon. But I still think there's a large disconnect. Of course, the toys don't have to be exactly in line with the movies. They really don't. It's fun to just kind of do your own thing with the toys. That's what I did as a kid. I replayed the T-Rex scene, the T-Rex breakout scene, over and over and over in my bedroom with those toys as a kid.
with crazy jungle-inspired deco, as well as a Scutosaurus, and of course, new ways to capture and battle with dinosaurs. This vehicle was really a chance for us to break free of the core line where everything's so realistic and really kind of indulge in some of that youthful fantasy of toys. One of the most requested features we've gotten over the years is to do a real feel Tyrannosaurus Rex. And finally, we've been able to make that dream a reality. This is the electronic real feel Tyrannosaurus Rex. We went back to the entire history of the Jurassic Park T-Rex, starting with that original color scheme planned for the film. This dinosaur has that awesome real feel skin, as well as all the articulation that we expect, and
with those giant clown feet. I guess that's the term the community uses online, clown feet. I saw a post about that on Blue Sky recently, and I was like, yeah, I've not been a fan of how large the feet are on the modern toys.
Button hidden underneath that soft skin for sound effect action. This figure also has the ability to swallow smaller figures whole, which you can then retrieve later from its belly. For the 30th anniversary, the 93 Classic line has allowed us to take a look back at all of Jurassic Park's wealth of history, from the films to the toys, and bring something that we think will be so exciting to the modern kid and collector.
These toys really take me back, and if you love them as much as I do, you can pre-order now, only at Target.com. And as always, tune in next month for even more Beyond the Gates.
This was for the 30th anniversary. Guess this video was 2023, so we're a little behind. Rexy.
Welcome back to Beyond the Gates. Today we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park once again by revealing 3 all-new Funko Pops exclusive to Target, including Target's very own Bullseye as a beloved Jurassic Park character. We're joined by Funko's Kayla Moggensen as well as Universal's Gabe de Guzman to reveal these all-new toys. Let's take a look.
It is the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park, and the way that we are celebrating this is introducing these 3 amazing figures to you guys. Introducing our new figure of Bullseye as John Hammond. It is 2 iconic characters mashed together to make something just so adorable, so sweet. We have a little dinosaur and an egg right next to him, the glasses, the cane. It's a great figure, I feel like, that just really pays tribute to Bullseye as well as John Hammond. Amazing figure to kind of kick it off. Here is the iconic pop moment. Dr. Alan Grant lighting the flare, trying to get the T-Rex's attention. One of the most iconic moments in the movie that I think most fans are going to be familiar with. The difference between pop moments and just our typical pop line is it's the opportunity for us to really freeze a moment in time. We're given the chance to create more dynamic poses. You really
It's a real shame, too, that I'm not a fan of the pop figures, because they've made one for just about every series and franchise out there, and they do put a little bit of effort and work into them. I'll give them that. I just don't like them. I don't like the heads. It's the heads that do it for me.
We get a full 360 view. Instead of just a standalone figure, we really get to sculpt the action. We get to have an entire scene. So introducing our next pop.
And make no mistake, I loved DK mode in GoldenEye 64, the giant heads. So it's not the goofiness that takes me out of it. I just don't like the shape and the design. I don't like the eyes. I don't like the expressionlessness in the face.
Pop moment.
Like
this is a more specific moment because we get to kind of see the dinosaur. We get to see the T-Rex. This is a great figure, I feel like, where we got to really experiment some with everything that we get to do typically with Jurassic Park. We got to put the dinosaur in a more dynamic pose with his foot lifted on top. So this was a really great, fun item, I think, for the team to work on.
Did she say his foot lifted up on top? Ma'am, Rexy is a girl.
In general.
What's cool about this T-Rex breakout is that it's like a 2-piece set where you have one side is the T-Rex with the broken Jeep, and then the other side is Alan Grant with the flare in his hand. We make these
Explorer, not Jeep.
two pieces be great as a standalone, not just together. What's great about working with partners like Funko is that they're huge fans of the property as well. Being a fan myself, we're able to kind of get down to the idea right away. To the fans, like, I'd like to say that, yeah, stay tuned. There's a lot of great things coming out on shelf, not just from Funko, but like, everything surrounding Jurassic Park 30th anniversary.
The Funko Pop collection keeps getting better with every new edition. Don't miss out on these exclusives. Expand your very own Jurassic Park by pre-ordering now, only at Target.com. And don't forget to tune in next month for even more Beyond the Gates.
I wonder how long the Funko Pop line will continue for. It's got some age to it. What is Funko?
Welcome back.
Dominion.
It has been an incredible year for Beyond the Gates, and today we are taking a look back at the Generation Jurassic event held at Universal Studios Hollywood earlier this year. Working alongside Universal Products and Experiences and Target, we showed off some truly awesome exclusive reveals of items only available at Target and still available to purchase now at the first ever Beyond the Gates live panel. Generation Jurassic featured a ton of fun activities for fans of all ages and was a blast in no small part thanks to a very special guest from Jurassic World Dominion, DeWanda Wise.
Rexy has a toy, a very special figure of your character Kayla Watts as she appears in Jurassic World Dominion.
Yum, an action figure.
From there, things really kicked off. Mattel started by revealing
Jurassic does have a knack for kind of dumping in one character and then never bringing them back. Sarah Harding, anybody? I want to see DeWanda come back. I thought she was a good character. We didn't get to see much of her. I want her to come back.
many exciting Jurassic World Dominion toys, walking us through the design of the deadly Dominion Atrociraptors, and went on to showcase some of the great human and dinosaur action figure packs. Ashley from Funko showed off some of the fun new Funko Pops only available at Target, such as the Diamond Edition Mr. DNA, plus new movie moment sets including Muldoon and the Velociraptor. Last but certainly not least, Mattel first debuted the now fan favorite Hammond Collection Tyrannosaurus Rex, which
I want that figure, but I can't find it on store shelves, and when I look it up on eBay, scalpers want a stupid amount for it.
is still available in stores at Target.
And it's the collector level T-Rex that I feel all the fans have been waiting for.
This highly articulated action figure is not to be missed. It includes realistic glass eyes, flexible jaw tendons, and an absolutely phenomenal paint job. Make no mistake, it is the ultimate Jurassic Park T-Rex toy.
I want it.
With so many reveals, so much to see and do, plus a chance to meet a plethora of incredible Jurassic fans from all over, Generation Jurassic was truly a night to remember. We hope you enjoyed this event, and don't miss your chance to expand your collection with all of these great Jurassic items available at Target. It's been an incredible year for Beyond the Gates, and with Jurassic Park's 30th anniversary coming soon, you can bet we have more coming. See you next year.
This must have been around the holidays. Because see, the last opening was a Dominion opening, but now they're going back to the 30th anniversary opening for this video.
Welcome back to Beyond the Gates. In today's episode, we are taking a look at Dr. Wu's hybrids from the Jurassic World films with some exciting new toys from Mattel, first available at Target. We are joined by Mattel's Chandra Hicks to talk toy design alongside Glenn McIntosh, a key artist and animator who helped bring the Indominus Rex to life in the movies. Let's take a look.
Today, we are going to take a look at the two hybrids of Jurassic World. We're going to show you the camouflage and battle Indominus Rex and the super colossal Indoraptor. So the Indominus Rex has these amazing features that bring her to life. She's got control of her head by manipulating her tail. There's a button on that tail that allows you to do a vicious chomp and some of those iconic roars. And the best part is that there's a light up effect that mimics her camouflage abilities from the movie. We took a deeper dive into film accuracy with the sculpt of this dinosaur.
I was very, very lucky to join Jurassic World very early on in the production. We experimented quite a bit with the look of Indominus and just how far we could go with it. What we found when we saw those was that it started to venture visually more into a creature of fantasy than it did like a real animal. The most important thing for us was to keep going back to Mother Nature and looking at all the variations of theropod that have been made and like, well, how can we make this one distinct and different from the T-Rex and yet just as iconic? I had a lot of discussions about potentially something having cuttlefish DNA, having like chromatophore cells that could change color. And so I thought it might be interesting to explore a couple of ideas where if the Indominus Rex got mad, it would actually flush its cells with color.
Just like how in film they took inspiration from the cuttlefish to create the Indominus Rex, we took inspiration from the cuttlefish to create the pulsating, glowing patterns of the lights. And it revealed...
See, that's cool. But they didn't touch on that a lot in the movie. She did camouflage, but she didn't flush her system when she got upset. At least I don't think she did.
Patterns that mimic the camouflage and patterns that you might see in a cuttlefish. So next up, we have the super colossal Indoraptor with articulated arms and legs. It can eat smaller dinosaurs, and you can retrieve its lunch from the hatch in its stomach. And when we say we go big, we go big. Super colossals are some of the largest toy dinosaurs we do in the line. So kids and parents love our super colossals because who doesn't want a big dinosaur? But collectors are going to love these dinosaurs because we can go into incredible detail with the sculpts because the size is bigger. You're going to love the glossy finish that looks just like the Indoraptor's slick feel from the film. These hybrids are some of the most terrifying species in the Jurassic universe and are iconic to the franchise. They truly bring to life the imagination of dinosaur lovers all around. And I can't wait for you to see what we plan next.
Both of these hybrids have striking designs that translate into toys in incredible fashion. Add them to your growing collections by pre-ordering now, only at Target.com.
I wish I had the money or the space for all of this. Then I probably would be a collector, but...
Welcome back to Beyond the Gates. Today we're taking a look at two all-new Legacy Collection sets exclusive to Target and based upon scenes from the original Jurassic Park, plus its sequel, The Lost World. These really are must-haves for any collector. Mattel's Raphael Ben Cosme has...
Chris trips me out. He's so energetic and enthused about it. I give him that. He's a super fan. He's just always with the hands, and I love it. He's good people, as far as I know. I mean, like anybody else, we know of these people parasocially through the internet.
Return to take us behind the scenes. So let's take a look. But also, stay tuned until the very end to learn how you can win amazing prizes to celebrate Jurassic Park's 30th anniversary.
The Velociraptor Chaos Containment set is amazing. We have two park workers, we have all the accessories, we have the cage, and of course we included Muldoon because, you know, he's gonna say it. Shooter! We've done Velociraptors in the past, but we can always take different interpretations, and this one feels right. In addition, we have a glow-in-the-dark eye, just to capture that magic. The Raptor cage is an iconic piece, and it has a moving and sliding door. It's trying to be as close as possible to the film, so look at all the details around this cage. We always try to do the main characters, but for the scene, like the park workers are the heroes of the moment. On that specific scene, you can see the park workers. Some of them have the vest, some of them have it off, some of them are talking on the walkie-talkie, some of them are already engaged with the stunt prods. The vest is actually removable. You can have the clip on the back for the walkie-talkie, so you can really recreate all the variations of the park workers you see in the scene. We have here the Tyrannosaurus Rex ambush pack. It's a really cool set. We have the Mercedes vehicle, the brand new Ian Malcolm. And
And see, that does not look like Ian Malcolm at all. I'm sorry. This is one of the few figures I think they butchered quite a bit. The clothes are wrong. His stomach, he looks fat. The head's all wrong. But I do love the fact that they're showing some love to the Lost World. It gets so heavily ignored in the series. Also, the male T-Rex also gets heavily ignored. And I know that that's one that fans wanted for so long.
And we have a buck T-Rex in the Jurassic franchise. The females tend to be more on the brown side, and then the males a little bit more on the green, which is what we wanted to capture here. The male T-Rex has a very specific skull, very specific details on the head. We really wanted a new head sculpt that reflected that. Additionally, the Malcolm is an entire new figure. We have true to film deco, and of course, a new head sculpt, new face deco, and full-on costume accurate to the Lost World. Now, the vehicle itself is a fantastic addition.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I guess it is costume accurate. Okay. It's just, I guess he still was wearing the black, wasn't he? I don't know why I thought he was wearing something else.
For the Legacy Collection. On the vehicle, we applied different techniques. We're applying labels to match that camouflage. We're trying to get those headlight details as close as possible to the actual Mercedes vehicles. We connected with the Mercedes team to bring all the logos, all the badges, the Mercedes vehicle. It's like front to back. It's really matching the film. And you actually get the two versions. The back of the vehicle is actually detachable, and you have that bubble that opens up, and you can have Dr. Ian Malcolm riding on it.
The Velociraptor Chaos Containment Pack and Tyrannosaurus Rex Ambush Pack are available to pre-order now exclusively at Target.com, so don't miss out. Come celebrate Jurassic Park's 30th anniversary with Mattel. You have a chance to win a vacation for 4 to Universal Studios Hollywood or Universal Orlando Resort, where you can come face to face with the fierce Indominus Rex or race alongside Velociraptors. 5 additional winners will receive a Jurassic Park prize pack and a $100 Target gift card. Enter and learn more at shop.mattel.com/legacy sweeps through July 4th.
I want to go. I never get to go anywhere due to you, one.
We are back with another episode of Beyond the Gates. Welcome to Jurassic June. We are celebrating Jurassic Park's 30th anniversary in a number of exciting ways. There is a ton happening this month, so be sure to follow Jurassic World on socials for all the latest updates. Today on the show, we are taking a look at the towering Hammond Collection Brachiosaurus, which is exclusive to Target. The legendary 9-time Academy Award winner Dennis Muren has joined us to tell us about how they brought this iconic dinosaur to life in the original film. Plus, we are once again joined by Greg Murphy of Mattel to tell us how this toy came to be.
We just knew that for the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park, we had to do something that was really big and really special. And of course, there's no bigger and more special dinosaur than the first dinosaur you meet in Jurassic Park. So this is the Hammond Collection Brachiosaurus. This is the biggest Hammond Collection figure we've ever done, and it's the most awesome recreation of that Jurassic Park 1 Brachiosaurus ever created. The Hammond Collection Brachiosaurus has 18 points of discrete articulation, as well as 3 pivot points in the neck for lifelike movement. We really wanted to make sure that could recreate that iconic pose from the opening of Jurassic Park, where it rears up and it reaches those tall branches on its hind legs. And this, of course, presents a bit of a problem when you have a giant scale figure like this. A lot of time and energy went into making sure that those leg joints would hold the weight of the dinosaur, as well as getting the tail length and angle of rotation just right, so that the dinosaur can rear up just like in
those tiny back legs.
the film. We went with a soft, real feel plastic neck instead of a segmented neck to preserve that screen accurate look and give collectors something that would display perfectly on their shelves. Inside the neck, there are 3 separate modules with ball joint articulation. At first, these had a little bit of a long stem on the joint, but this was creating a pinching effect with the neck, which didn't look very natural. So we went back and we re-engineered these to be more solid blocks, almost like vertebra, providing structure and also allowing a range of motion under the soft plastic.
We went to a local animal park and looked at, the rhinos, the hippos, giraffes. There's a lot of giraffe in that. Anything you could think of to look and see how the light reflect off of it, what the texture was like on it, so that when you saw it in the film, you felt you could reach out and touch it. And we really wanted to do A-level work, that really, hopefully, had not been done before, nobody had ever seen before. The leap to CG put a lot more stuff in our control, and to the point I could look at a rough version of the lighting, and the form of the body of Brachiosaurus looked kind of flat, which represented the lighting when we were actually in Hawaii shooting it. I had a model I held up there. So when we got into the computer graphic dinosaur, I cheated the light back. So the light wrapped around with the top, but the bottom belly was dark. So now it had depth, and you can then feel the mass of the character. I love that scene. That image is so romanticized. It evokes what must be going on there that you can't see, that you just want to see. But how many movies relish the idea of discovering beauty and nature and, the past to scale, things we've never seen before. I'm really surprised and I'm very honored that the work seems to hold up after 30 years, We put a lot of time into that. And then the performances of them, they're aggressive when you want them to be aggressive, and they're wonderfully passive and reminding you of sort of your pet dog or whatever it is. At other times, there's a lot of connection. You're not,
because they're animals. They're not monsters.
not just looking, you're feeling stuff as an audience member. And a lot of films don't put those into the movie. Steven is such an expert filmmaker. He just really kept the whole thing, in tone to your heart, either your heart or your muscles to run away. One of those two are always working.
We went back to the original on-screen model from ILM to capture as much fine detail in the skin and the musculature as possible. And for the all-new head sculpt, we went back to the Stan Winston animatronic, which is so lifelike and so convincing, and we wanted to capture that same essence in this figure, including all that fine detail and the glass eyes to really bring it to life. In the film, this dinosaur has a surprisingly complex color scheme with a lot of subtle hues and shifts and textures. We wanted to recreate that as accurately as possible, and so we used a variety of deco techniques, including wipe deco to really pop out all of the skin texture details, and spray applications for more natural fades across different parts of the dinosaur. This was kind of a holy grail item for us. It was a dinosaur we never thought.
I will say that the level of detail that they can achieve on toys today, the technology that they can implement to paint these things, pales in comparison. Or yesterday's toys pale in comparison to what they can do today. It's mind-blowing.
We'd actually get to do in the Hammond collection, but the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park provided the perfect opportunity for us to get the go-ahead and actually make this figure happen, and we were so excited about how it turned out.
It is truly a great time to be a fan of Jurassic Park. Bring home this towering titan by pre-ordering now, only at Target.com. Those who pre-order will also receive a very special Brachiosaurus art card as presented by Mr. DNA, inserted inside of the box, so don't miss out.
Mr. DNA.
Welcome back to Beyond the Gates. Hot off the heels of Jurassic June, we are back with another Sauropod surprise joining Target's exclusive Jurassic World Legacy Collection, the Momenchisaurus from the Lost World Jurassic Park. Mattel toy designer Raphael Ben-Cosme has joined us once again to tell us what it took to bring this unique dinosaur to life in toy form. So let's dive right in.
Another Lost World figure. Like I said, Lost World gets ignored a lot, but it has some really awesome stuff to pull from.
In the Jurassic Park trilogy, we obviously have the Brachiosaur. We saw that in Jurassic Park. But in the Lost World, we get introduced this second sauropod. Let me introduce you to the fun Momenchisaurus. This is an amazing dinosaur. Imagine that you are that rider from the Lost World, and you dare to go through the legs of the dinosaur. This is the dinosaur that you're looking at. It's an amazing dinosaur standing at 49 inches long, and he has over 8 points of articulation to fully pose and then complete your Lost World scenery. The main learning we've had from one sauropod to another is how important it is to keep the gesture. If you're imagining, you're drawing an imaginary line from like the snout all the way to the tail, how does that dinosaur flow? It's very easy with this long neck dinos to make them very stiff. And that really takes a lot of the fun, a lot of the heart away from the toy and the dinosaur. From the concept sketch to the final production, we keep that gesture, like lifelike looking pose of the dinosaur. It's the hardest and almost like the most important thing to keep. We had been thinking of doing the Mamenchisaurus for a while, and it was not until we had that reveal of the Sandwestern maquette, and then where we were like, okay, let's greenlight this project. When looking at the finishing touches, if you look at the color palette overall, there's a little bit more subdued, a little bit more natural. It's almost like you're in the middle of the savannah, and all the colors of the Pachycephalosaurus, the Parasaurolophus, the Mamenchisaurus, they all kind of like blend in a little bit. You know, it's a chase scene, you get a lot of dust, you get a lot of sunlight. We wanted a little bit more gradual tones between the actual like markings of the dinosaur and the main color that we have. We achieved that, really emphasizing the fading technique between the decorations over the main color of the dino. The favorite part for me, it's the context, it's perspective. You know, how big is the Mamenchisaurus? Take rolling tempo and put it next to the Mamenchisaurus. It just really brings that weight and size and how majestic these dinosaurs were. In the Legacy collection, it has proven to be a fantastic place for us as toy designers and the fans of Jurassic to meet and then discover and make new toys. It would have been a terrible miss not to do the Mamenchisaurus.
And it would have been really easy for them to mess this up too, because those necks are probably heavier. Because I think back to the dinosaur toys when I was a kid, it was just like this one chunk of plastic. So there wasn't really any articulation in the neck or the head whatsoever. And I'm not talking about Jurassic Park toys. I'm talking about, I remember when I would go into the store as a kid, the first thing you want to do is run to the toys, but you kind of stuck with your mom. My mom didn't let us run out of her sight. You know, she didn't let us run around the store. She made sure to keep us with her at all times. So when it got to the part of our grocery shopping to where we passed near the toys, because I remember you go to Walmart, that's one thing. The groceries are on the other side. I don't even remember if Walmart had a full-on grocery section like it does today back in the late 80s. But I remember we didn't have a Walmart Supercenter. We just had a standard Walmart. I don't know if there's a difference anymore today. The lines may have blurred completely and it all may just be Walmart. But there was a difference when I was a kid. And we didn't go to Walmart for groceries. We had a grocery store here where I live. But she would start on the right side of the store and go up and down each aisle and pick what she wanted. But in the middle of the store, you had kind of a break from all of the shelves. It was a big open area. And I remember there were magazines on one side and a toy aisle on the other. And we would always go, through there. And I would always see the toys and look at them and play with them, a kid being a kid. But they always had very generic, a lot of times one clear coat of paint toy. Very generic, very dollar store-esque. And it's a far cry from what you're seeing here on your screen today. It's not even in the same universe of detail and articulation.
I hope you appreciate the Mamenchisaurus as much as we do. It was a fun dinosaur to create. And stay tuned, because there's more coming in the Legacy.
Dude, you gotta do something about that unibrow. I feel you. I got a unibrow too. I constantly have to keep this stuff in check. I'm constantly plucking and trimming but you gotta do it, my man. You gotta do it.
Collection from the Lost World.
I honestly cannot believe this toy exists. The Mamenchisaurus may be obscure, but it is truly a unique must-have for fans and collectors alike. You can bring this dinosaur home too by pre-ordering now, only at Target.com.
Bum 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 bum.
Welcome back to Beyond the Gates. Today we are traveling back to Isla Sorna with two brand new additions to Mattel's Hammond collection, the juvenile Tyrannosaurus Rex and Stegosaurus from the Lost World Jurassic Park. Greg Murphy has returned to discuss designing these collector toys alongside a very special guest, Matt Winston, who will take us behind the scenes of designing the animatronics for the film.
Matt is here.
Let's take a look.
I'm super excited to introduce two brand new juvenile dinosaurs to the Hammond collection. Coming straight out of the Lost World, we have the juvenile Stegosaurus and the juvenile Tyrannosaurus Rex. First up, we have the baby Stegosaurus, and this dinosaur is fondly remembered from its memorable role where Sarah Harding has to take a picture and can't not touch it. So when we were designing, we knew there was a ton of excellent material thanks to Stan Winston Studios and their maquettes and their animatronics that went into making the dinosaur come alive on the screen. And so we were actually able to go back and cull through all of that amazing reference to really inform the look and the sculpt and the.
See, Mattel took the time to team up with Stan Winston Studios to make sure the coloring was screen accurate, the skin, the textures, the muscle, all of that was screen accurate for the toys. Why couldn't they do that with Jurassic World? Why? Why did you just hop into it? Why did you just jump in to the deep end and say, we'll just make them look like whatever? It doesn't matter. People don't care. Trust me, you don't know fan bases. People care.
Color of our baby Stegosaurus.
Designing baby dinosaurs was a much bigger challenge than you would expect. You want to tap into the awe factor, but you don't want to fall into the trap of making them too cute. As with every dinosaur design, the Stan Winston team looked to nature for certain design cues that would capture the essence of what they wanted to achieve.
The baby Stegosaurus has a very recognizable and unique color scheme. To capture a little bit of that fade that comes up from the belly and extends onto the sides, we implemented some white deco that really pops out the texture. All the plates along this dinosaur also have individual deco to really bring out that on-screen look. We used digital printing to print the deco right onto the face. All of these techniques combined, we're able to capture a higher level of authenticity and detail. This figure has 15 points of articulation, including 2 joints in that very short stubby tail, allowing for a lot of posability in a very small space. Next up, we have the juvenile T-Rex, a species that plays such a pivotal role in the film, whether it's being trapped or rescued or leading to that climactic final chase. This T-Rex has 14 points of articulation and includes that wire tail just like all of our other Hammond Collection figures.
For the coloration, the artists at Stan Winston Studio again looked to nature and how the colorations of infant or even juvenile animals would generally be different than once the animal matures into an adult. And so they applied that same approach, choosing softer colors, slightly lighter colors that would really be a nice contrast to the colorations that were chosen for the adult specimens.
In order to fully capture that salmon-colored detailing around the head, as well as all of the eye details, we used, again, direct inkjet printing. And then for the belly, we used a spray application to get a nice, even fade that blends into the body color and still picks up some of that sculpted texture. We included the belt muzzle, as well as the leg cast that are so important for the plot of the movie and the fate of this dinosaur. We are so excited to be able to bring these 2 new dinosaurs to collectors, and we can't wait to show you what dinosaurs and what films we decide to dive into next.
These 2 new toys mark the first juvenile dinosaurs joining Mattel's Hammond Collection and bring the fan-favorite newcomers from the Jurassic Park sequel to life in fantastic collector quality. Don't miss your chance to bring them home. Pre-order today, only at Target.com.
We got to see a few baby dinosaurs here and there over the course of Jurassic World. You know, there was Beta, the baby raptor. I know that in Dominion there were a couple, especially with Jurassic World Rebirth. I think there's a baby dinosaur that's going to play heavy into the plot. Again, I'm recording this out ahead of seeing Rebirth in theaters next month. So, and you know, these videos are a good, 2-3 years old at this point. 2 years, I believe, unless you count 2025 as a full year, which I don't, because we're only in June.
Welcome back to Beyond the Gates. Today we are revisiting 2015's Jurassic World with 2 all-new items joining Mattel's Hammond Collection, which you can pre-order now only at Target, Owen Grady and Velociraptor Blue. To talk about designing these toys and showcase how they've evolved them even further for even better collector value, we are once again joined by Mattel's Greg Murphy. Further, we are joined by Glenn McIntosh to bring us behind the scenes and showcase how they brought Velociraptor Blue to life in the film. Let's take a look.
For this year, we really were trying to get deep into the 30th anniversary and bring all of those awesome Jurassic Park characters to life. But for next year, we're going into Jurassic World, and we're going to start introducing some amazing new characters from that franchise. Today, I'm super excited to present the Hammond Collection, Owen Grady, and Velociraptor Blue, coming to us from Jurassic World. The Hammond Collection, Owen Grady, includes everything you need to recreate tense Jurassic World raptor encounters. He comes with a
Something about his dimensions are all off. You guys know I've said this before. I don't like the diapering. I don't like the diaper effect that these figures have. I love the dinosaur figures in the modern Mattel toy line, but I'm not a big fan of the humans. The human toys don't look good, man. I mean, look at... Where does his stomach end and his pelvic area begin? He's too stretched out. It's all wrong, man. This figure's all wrong. I'm sorry, guys at Mattel. I don't want to be a hater. It's just that this thing's hideous.
Swappable head with a face giving commands to the raptors, as well as 2 open palm hands to hold those raptors at bay in his signature training stance. Owen also comes with a sheathed utility tool that can be removed, as well as camera headgear that can be attached to the
sheathed utility tool. Can't say knife?
Hammond Collection Raptors.
It's a knife. You can say knife.
For Raptor Recon. We always strive to bring the greatest level of articulation to our figures, and this Owen does not disappoint in that regard. We have 16 points of articulation to recreate endless scenes. As we introduce this all-new generation of characters, we knew we had to capture Owen's likeness and costuming as accurately as possible, and capture a little bit of that attitude that has made him such a fan favorite. When painting a human figure, one of the most important details that we focus on is, of course, the facial likeness. For our Hammond Collection humans, we actually use inkjet printing to print a digital representation of that actor's actual likeness directly onto the sculpt. So you're getting even more detail and color and accuracy than you would be able to get from traditional painting methods. Just like all of our Hammond Collection humans, Owen's face goes through filmmaker and talent approvals to ensure the greatest level of accuracy to the actor himself. If Owen is the human lead of the Jurassic World franchise, Blue is definitely...
I don't think Owen is the human lead of the Jurassic franchise, not even remotely. Claire would be the human lead.
Its dinosaur lead and the breakout star. For the Hammond Collection version of Blue, we went back to the drawing board to draft up an entirely new sculpt to fully capture her on-screen look as closely as possible. Compared to previous Jurassic Park versions of the Velociraptor that we featured in the Hammond Collection, Blue has a completely different sculpt and a completely different body shape. She has a thicker, more muscular torso, and of course she has those new smaller feet that we're rolling out across the entire line. In the film, Blue is a very dynamic character. She's always in motion, on the hunt, chasing the Indominus, and we wanted to make sure we recreate that same amount of emotiveness and sense of movement in the figure. So for this figure, we really made sure to get the proportions of the tail nice and long, so you get that really fluid bend as well.
Yeah, the Velociraptor designs for Jurassic Park always have pretty long tails. And I'm glad that they redid the feet. God, those are like, if you guys go back and look, the original Jurassic World toy line, their feet are bigger than their heads and most of their body. It's ridiculous.
As including all of those great points of Hammond.
But why are her eyes black? It's like she's got the from the X-Files, the symbiote oil virus, alien virus thing.
Collection articulation, we went back to the original 3D designed by ILM to bring this dinosaur to life on the screen. And we also combed through the movie to capture as much reference of how Blue moves and how she stands to really get that sense of weight and posture sculpted into the figure.
My name is Glenn McIntosh. I was the overall animation supervisor for any dinosaurs that were in the movie. I was defining the motion of them and the mannerisms that brought them to life. In Jurassic Park 3, there was a very specific look look that we come to know as the Highland Raptors. So I had done some initial designs that were more like the Highland Raptors, but Colin Trevorrow really gravitated towards the classic designs that we'd seen in the original Jurassic Park films. We did get away from the Highland Raptor curved brow on the muzzle. They had slightly thicker bodies and then distinct colorations to show that they were each infused with a different type of DNA. But we also went back to sort of the slit eye and just harkened back to the classic raptor look.
Blue will be the first of our small Hammond Collection dinosaurs to get the glass eye treatment. We saw how amazing this effect looked on the Hammond Collection T-Rex and the Brachiosaurus, and we knew we had to expand this feature to all of our dinosaurs. This glass eye is going to make the figures even more lifelike than ever before, giving them that little spark of life that really gleams on your shelf or in toy photography. One of the most iconic things about Blue is, of course, her namesake blue stripe. To make sure that this was captured as faithfully as possible in the figure, we used tampo printing to make sure we got that overlapping layer of white and blue to really pop the stripe.
The Highland Raptors definitely had sort of that white stripe running down the length of their bodies. Colin gravitated towards that. I'd noticed that there was a black stripe on a black-throated African monitor lizard that ran away from the eye down the length of the body. So I wanted to incorporate that into Blue. That black line would sort of be infused with little flecks of specular highlights of blue colorations. The stripe eventually had more and more blue into it, and just sort of well, her name is Blue, why don't we say that she's also named Blue because she's got this blue stripe running down her body. So that was kind of the evolution of the design. Ever since I was a little kid,
You named her Blue before giving her the blue stripe?
Dinosaurs, and the idea and the opportunity to supervise a movie like Jurassic World was a dream come true, and then obviously to work with Colin Trevorrow was fantastic, and of course all of the amazing artists in Industrial Light and Magic.
It's always an amazing experience to get to create another new dinosaur for the Hammond Collection, and the Jurassic World Raptors are an incredible species that's so different than what we saw in Jurassic Park. Being able to build that from the ground up for an all-new figure was a super fulfilling experience. We're so excited to be able to bring the dynamic duo of Owen and Blue into the Hammond Collection, and I think this is going to kick off a really exciting era as we bring all of our fans along into the Jurassic World franchise.
Owen and Blue really showcase some of the best of the Hammond Collection's offerings, and I cannot wait to see what's next. Until then, be sure to pre-order yours today, only at Target.com.
That blue figure does look good. I mean, she looks great. Her eyes are off.
Welcome back to Beyond the Gates. Hold on to your butts, the Hammond Collection is back with the all-new, stunning Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Carnotaurus, first available at Target. We are going behind the scenes of designing the toy and film dinosaur with Mattel's Greg Murphy and Industrial Light and Magic's David Victory. So let's bite right in.
I am so excited to bring the Carnotaurus to the Hammond Collection. This is an awesome dinosaur from the Jurassic World franchise that we know fans love and that we've been waiting to bring to you guys. This dinosaur has 18 points of articulation, it's got a glass eye, it's got a wire tail, and it has all of that detail just like in the movies. We're always working to make our Hammond Collection figures even more lifelike. And for the Carnotaurus, this was no exception. This dinosaur has those smaller feet so that the dinosaur is easy to pose, easy to stand, while still maintaining that content-accurate look.
It just looks so good. I mean, these figures, if I had had these figures as a child, I would have just been over the moon.
The Carnotaurus kicks off an all-new size within the Hammond Collection, which will allow us to bring all-new fan-favorite dinosaurs that are smaller than the T-Rex, but larger than the Baryonyx. Since this is a larger scale figure, we're able to capture even more detail. We really wanted to make sure that the head looked just like that close-up scene that we see in Fallen Kingdom. And if you look closely, there's a ton of scale variety and sculpt detail within the head to fully capture that on-screen look.
Yeah, they went ham on this. They went above and beyond. They outdid themselves with the Carnotaurus. Look at this thing.
The teeth on this figure are another area we are super pleased with. This dinosaur has separately molded teeth that are not part of the jaw or the upper head, which allows us to get a lot more space between the teeth for that really realistic look, and allows for pointier teeth by molding in a softer material. In addition to the teeth, we're also continuing our newly improved glass eyes on these figures. This is a direct evolution from what we did in the T-Rex And now it's coming to more figures than ever, like the Carnotaurus, to give them that extra flair and that extra realism. We combed through every frame of that thrilling chase scene on the slopes of the volcano, and we also had access to the ILM digital models actually used in the film to inspire the look of this figure.
So my name's David Vickery. I work for Industrial Light and Magic, and I was the visual effects supervisor on Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Battle of Big Rock, the short film that we made in between, and also Jurassic World Dominion. How do you go about designing a dinosaur for Jurassic World? We always start with concepts, and for the Carnotaurus it was no different. We look for reference, we look at paleo science to try and make up the best picture of the full skeleton of the creature. We had a really fantastic concept artist called Jurassic working with us on Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and he was really the person that designed that creature, in conjunction with Dave Bayano. I mean, it did evolve, the design of the Carnotaurus evolved. We played around with the size of the dinosaur's head. It got bigger and bigger and smaller and bigger and bigger, and then the horns got shorter and stubbier, and we wanted it to feel more devil-like, I think, was the idea. The challenge in extreme close-ups on creatures like that, when you have to create a digital asset that can be seen in a wide shot head to toe, but then you have full frame shots just in on the eye, essentially. And then we end up running it through every single shot. And you look at the renders and you go, oh, okay, the claws don't stand up to scrutiny. We need to work on them. The eye needs more detail. We need to add tear lines in, and bits of goo and gunk. And so you have to continually improve every single iteration of every shot and look for the weak points. You're going to look at a creature and try and make a fantastic creature like a dinosaur real, then injecting a little bit of something that people can recognize and are familiar with is a really good way to sort of ground it in a reality that you accept as being physical. When it came to the sort of horny keratin-like structures on the dinosaur's head, he looked at, marine iguanas, basilisks. We're trying to create something that has a real physical presence for the audience.
Can you honestly tell me any other franchise out there to where they put in this much love and care? I don't know of any other franchise that goes above and beyond to where they're taking pictures and looking at every little tiny scale in the skin. I don't know of any other franchise that does this.
Carnotaurus is such an amazing dinosaur. I think it's my favorite in the franchise.
In Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the Carnotaurus has such an incredible look, and we knew we had to try to recreate that as closely as possible. This dinosaur has an amazing color scheme. It's very subtle. There's not really a lot of crazy color happening, and it blends perfectly with the skin texture in a way that just gives it so much vibrance and so much life. On the face of this figure, too, there is a lot of detailed complexity in the coloration, and we used inkjet printing to get a subtle gradation between the tans and the oranges and that base redder skin tone to really bring it to life. Thanks to the incredible support of all of our fans, we've been able to continue to grow the Hammond collection. The Carnotaurus.
Everybody goes crazy over the T-Rex, and I get it. T-Rex is king. It is top dinosaur. Spinosaurus is closing in, close behind. I always was, fancied the Spinosaurus. But here's the thing, too. The Ceratosaurus and this guy here, I love them a lot, too. And it just tickles me pink when I see these dinosaurs getting love. The Carnotaurus is often overlooked. Not as much as the Ceratosaurus. The Ceratosaurus is probably the most overlooked. But I'm not a collector. I don't have a ton of space back there on my shelf for the whole toy line, but maybe in the future I might consider picking this up again. We're watching videos are a little dated. These videos came out 2 or 3 years ago, so these figures are probably only available maybe on eBay, and no telling what they cost.
This has been one of our most fan requested species for the Hammond collection, and it's one of my personal favorite dinosaurs from the franchise. I'm beyond excited to finally be able to bring this into the hands of collectors everywhere. With the introduction of this new size within the Hammond collection, collectors can be sure that there is a lot more to come.
The Carnotaurus has always been a favorite dinosaur of mine, and this one brings the Hammond collection to a whole new level of quality. Be sure to pre-order yours today, only at Target.com, and stay tuned for even more Beyond the Gates.
I do really love this little Beyond the Gates series.
Welcome to the Season 3 finale of Beyond the Gates. It has been a wild ride, but I have one last surprise for you this year. Joining Mattel's Jurassic World Legacy Collection is the Isla Sorna Expedition Pack from the Lost World Jurassic Park. Joining us is Mattel's Rafael Ben-Cosme, plus concept artist John Bell, who helped design this vehicle for the film. Let's get this movable feast underway.
This is the Isla Sorna Expedition Pack. It's an amazing addition to the Legacy Collection. You have a new character, Dieter Stark, and we have a really cool vehicle that you see in the Lost World that captures a Velociraptor on the back. Dieter Stark, it's a must-have in the Legacy line. I'm glad we brought it to life. And if you're bringing Dieter Stark, it's always going to be chased by compies. The compies are actually molded in a soft plastic, and you can actually wrap them around the figures, on the arms, the legs, the head, so you can recreate that awesome scene where the compies say goodbye to Dieter Stark. And of course, to complete that scene and the flavor, we included a stunt pro. I'm glad that we manifested that into the toy form. If I'm a collector, I definitely needed a Dieter Stark figure. It was hard to capture his likeness, and it was always hard when you don't have the actual 3D of the person. It's always a challenge, but the team definitely, raised the bars, and I think this figure is one of the best we've done in Legacy. The Velociraptor made sense for this set because it was the introduction of the male Velociraptor.
That is the most poorly done Velociraptor we've seen this entire season of Beyond the Gates. That is the laziest paint job I have seen. I mean, once you go into the Hammond collection, once you see the detail that they are capable of, coming back to this just blasted, it looks like they just blasted it with one solid color paint. Or they didn't even paint it at all. It's just the color of the plastic they used. The eye looks dead and painted on. The claws aren't painted. Yeah.
Velociraptor is the first time coming to the franchise, and it's pivotal in the third act of the movie. Even though the vehicle does not interact directly with it in the movie, it's made sense as Isla Sorna set. The vehicle itself captures a lot of fun play patterns, and you have that lift on the back. You can move that up and down and be supposedly safe from the dinosaurs in a high place, and you put the dinosaur on the side and capture it, so you get a full complete play with a human, dinosaur, and vehicle. The Lost World is just the perfect movie to make toys out of. Like that one scene where everyone's on their vehicles like chasing dinosaurs. We see the Mamenchisaurus, we see some Parasaurolophus, Pachycephalosaurus, and it's inspired by that. It's taking a lot of cues from John Bell, and it's also taking cues from the movie to make it absolutely toyetic and fun to play with.
My name is John Bell. I was a concept artist for Lost World Jurassic Park. By the time I got involved, they had the SUVs that they were going to use in the film. So I was looking through to see what other vehicles could possibly be a source of inspiration for the hunters. Whenever I'm reading a script, I always get visions of who these people might be. So it's just running with that, trying to think of big game hunters from older films. And I thought the hunters should have more of an aggressive feel. And so when I found the Unimog, it has such, hard, distinct lines. It felt that it would fit with their personalities. They're a little hard edged, they're a little beefy, a little more rugged. So it was a nice contrast between the gatherers and the hunters. As far as modifying it, it was more about adding on elements to help reinforce that aggressive stance. So the piece that I put around the grill, that has more of an aggressive feeling with a lot of the different angles to it. The bars across the window seem to make sense because of the territory that they're going to be going into, that they would have to have added protection. And as for the elevated boom on the back, they would want to have some way to get above so they could scope out and see in the distance and spot the different animals as they encountered them. When I go in.
But it's unfortunate, though, that a lot of this detail is seen for just split seconds at a time in the film, because you have, an hour and a half, 2 hours at best to get through a movie. Everything is condensed and everything's kind of rushed through. You need to tell one, flowing narrative. So for as much detail and as much work that goes into these films, you really have to appreciate it in the way that we're doing today, which kind of makes what I'm doing, in my opinion, really important, highlighting the work of individuals who you might not have ever seen this material otherwise. Some of these like this screenshot here, I've never seen this before, and I've learned so much just from going through and combing through the Jurassic World YouTube channel. I've learned more than I've ever known about the series just doing things that way. And like I said before, you point out to me the level of detail and scrutiny that goes behind or goes into any other series to the level that they do with Jurassic. You find one and you tell me. And don't come at me with Star Wars, because no, No, they don't. No, they do not.
Into this stuff, I'm really just thinking, I'm designing it for the film. I never really think about how fans are going to view this stuff beyond the length of the film run. For us to be talking about this nearly 25 years later, it's pretty exciting. You know, it's just a blast that fans of these films continue to live on and get excited about the products around them.
Well, it's because you did good work. I mean, you know, pat yourself on the back here, sir. You did an amazing job with these concepts and vehicles.
John Bell's design is just out of this world. Like, if you see it, like, you just want to make a toy out of every drawing he has ever made. It's just packed with details and features that inspire things that you want to play with. I'm real pleased to have brought to you today the Isla Sorna Expedition Pack. It's really jam-packed with features, with the Deer Stark figure, the Velociraptor, and an amazing vehicle, compies, and an accessory stunt prod. This has been an amazing journey. I'm really thankful to have had the opportunity to bring not only myself, but other people on the team to this platform to express all the passion that we put into the toys, a little bit of the behind the scenes. We not always get the opportunity to show the passion. And
what if they make the prototypes brightly colored like that so that they don't get out of the hands of the staff and onto the market and get confused for actual toys?
And the amount of work we put behind all of these sets, and it's been just an amazing experience overall. Thank you so much.
I am always happy to have a new toy from the Lost World Jurassic Park joining the collection, so be sure to pre-order now, only at Target.com. Also, don't miss out on your chance to pre-order the Dinosaur Fossils T-Rex Skull Lego set first at Target. This set...
I have seen this thing on the internet for the past few years, and I don't do Lego. I've never really been a huge Lego fan, but I've never wanted a Lego set more in my life. I have debated buying this thing 20 times over.
Offers dinosaur fans a more challenging build that makes a very fun display. The upcoming Lego set features a buildable T-Rex skull, footprint, and stand. Plus, the skull has opening jaws and is posable, so the display can be changed at any time. I wanted to thank you all for joining me for all 3 seasons of Beyond the Gates. It has been a blast being able to share this experience and help tell all these great behind-the-scenes stories. While I'll be signing off for now, there will always be new Jurassic World items for you to find at Target.
And that about more or less wraps up season 3 of Beyond the Gates. But there is more Beyond the Gates to come. I hope you guys have enjoyed the journey that's been presented here from their end. I hope you guys have enjoyed just kind of hanging out with me and listening to me popping in for my 2 cents worth as we've gone along on this journey. And like I said before, I did all of these videos before in the past. I had a Jurassic World / Jurassic Park playlist, but the quality was not up to snuff. So I decided to break it down, tear everything down, redo it this way. I put the border around the screen. I am very like awake and alert this time. Instead of falling asleep, I'm bringing a monster. I'm putting in as much effort as I can because I really love this franchise. It's my favorite franchise. It's my favorite intellectual property. And I feel like I should give it my, my all. So that's why this video is going to be over an hour compared to some of the other Jurassic videos. Usually Jurassic videos are short on my channel because we get in, we get out, we get straight to the point. I'm all about quality over quantity with these, where that might not necessarily be the case on the gaming side. But in real time, it's Jurassic June 2025, even though these videos are a couple of years old. Like I said, they when they got through doing the Beyond the Gate series, they started doing creator editions, and those are really fun. So we'll be taking a look at those eventually. But for now, we're going to wrap things up for today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Be sure to follow me on Blue Sky because there's a lot more going on over there. Posts and links and stuff that you need to see and need to know about. On the gaming side, the Nintendo Today app has been releasing a lot of like concept art for Metroid, and I've been grabbing those screens and trying to post them on social media for everybody to enjoy. Be sure to follow the guys over at Jurassic Outpost as well. They are what I consider the #1 go-to source for news and updates on Jurassic. There are other content creators out there. Of course, there is a whole wealth and community of material out there. So be sure to look into that as well. I am planning some community highlights where I'm going to be highlighting different users here and there that I find and think do a really good job. There's a lot of Jurassic Park animators on YouTube. That's a big thing. There's a lot of Jurassic Park toy photographers on social media like Instagram. That's a big thing. But we'll get around to all that in due time. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I will see you next time.